Hi everyone, welcome to Artsonia's After School Art Club. Today we have a fun art project from Mrs. Frobase, an art teacher from Pennsylvania. Hope you enjoy the video and don't forget to have your artwork uploaded to your Artsonia gallery.
My name is Mrs. Frobase and I'm an art teacher in Easton, Pennsylvania. I teach at Palmer Elementary School. We're a K-5 school, and since 2001 we've been a member of Artsonia. You can also check out our amazing artwork at Mrs._Frobase on Instagram. So come on into my studio and let's get creative. Today we're going to draw a cityscape on a piece of styrofoam to create a printing plate. Once you have your printing plate, I'm going to show you 3 of the many ways you can use that printing plate to create works of art. So let's gather our supplies to make our printing plate and our first marker print. First, you're going to need a piece of styrofoam. You can use a tray and trim off the edges, or you can buy them in sheets. You'll need a ballpoint pen, any color, and some washable markers. You'll need a damp sponge and several pieces of paper. Now this is optional, but I always like to have photos as references to give me ideas. For mine, I looked at the artist James Rizzi. Starting with a practice sketch is always a great idea and very helpful. You can look at your reference sheets or get any ideas you have and gather them together and start putting them down on paper until you're confident to move on using the pen on the styrofoam. So now I feel ready to begin. I'm going to use my pen directly on the styrofoam. Start your drawing in the foreground, which is at the very bottom of the page or closest to you. Use a series of different size rectangles from one side to the other. Now start with the middle ground, or buildings that look like they're behind your first row. If you have the space, go ahead and add another layer. Layering will create distance and show depth in your artwork. And don't forget to add some interesting details to the background and show what time of day it is. Aim for variety in your artwork. Different sizes of buildings make each one unique. Remember, I'm basing mine on the American pop artist James Rizzi. I love his bold lines, colors, interesting shapes, and very whimsical cartoon-like faces. Be sure to press firmly when you're drawing on the styrofoam. You should be able to feel where you drew with your fingers. It'll create an indentation. This will ensure that your lines show up bold and clear when you make a print. Now I've finished my printing plate. Let's start creating some prints. Be sure to use washable markers. My favorites are Mr. Sketch and Crayola. Aim to color the entire surface. Try not to leave any space white. You may want to even experiment with mixing some colors to see what happens when we make a print. Once you have a lot of color on there, just watch where you place your hands. If you set them on top of the ink, it could print right on your hands. I try not to lay my arm on it when I'm coloring, and I hold it with my fingertips just on the edge. And I'm ready to print. So grab a damp sponge and a piece of paper. Be sure to dampen the paper evenly. No puddles. Now I'm going to lay the paper on top and give it a good massage. Oh yeah. Then go ahead and lift up your paper. Now let's try our printing plate with some different materials. Now for this technique, it's a little messier, so you might want to grab an apron or wear an old shirt. Printing ink is what you're going to need. Speedball is my favorite kind. It comes in all different colors, but there's different brands. As long as it's printing ink, it'll work best. You're also going to need a roller or a brayer for this part. Come on, let's try it out. When rolling out your printing ink, it's important to keep it thin but evenly coated. I like to do this in layers and going in different directions. Time again for the massage. Make sure you press hard, get all that ink transferred onto your paper. Peel it off and voila, an ink print. You can choose any color of ink or even a blend of inks. I chose white because some of the marker ink was left on my printing plate and I wanted to pull some of that color out with the ink. Your printing plate is washable and reusable, so you can use it over and over again and try it out with many different materials. Besides the different types of inks or paints you might try using for printmaking, also think about what you're going to print on. What different types of papers could you print on? Or what other materials could you use to layer your artwork? And for this last technique I'm going to show you, I'm using watercolors to create some backgrounds. Then I'm going to use the ink and print right over top.